Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. We're the Movie Couple. I'm Dustin.
I'm Wendy.
And this is going to be our review for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Three generations of Dietz family return home to Winter River after an unexpected family tragedy. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life soon gets turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter discovers a mysterious portal to the afterlife. When someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, the mischievous demon gleefully returns to unleash his very own brand of mayhem. So Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the long 36 years sequel. There had been talk about a Beetlejuice sequel movie for so long. I never really thought that this day would come, that they would actually make it. And just rewatching it just yesterday before we went to go see this movie, I was kind of like, how are they going to recapture this? Because this is such an 80s style kind of movie, and it has such a cult following. This movie had a lot of really big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I would say so, and I think one of the main things that kept it feeling like Beetlejuice is when you get the director who directed and created the first movie, Tim Burton. He is back, and you get as many as the OG cast back. And the main 3, obviously, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice is essential. Winona Ryder as Lydia is essential. And for Catherine O'Hara to reprise her role as Delia, also essential. And I think with that, combined with Danny Elfman coming back onto the project with the same music, I think that is kind of your star lineup that you must have. Otherwise, you might as well just call it not a sequel, but just a reboot.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of, but I think with the characters, with the same director, that helps capture the essence of the original Beetlejuice. And I also have to say, paying attention to just kind of how they laid out this film, the opening sequence basically mimics the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like that they really follow that. I was going to call it Neverwinter. Winter River. The town Winter River also looks mostly the same, slightly more modern, obviously, with time, but they kept
also a little bit bigger. They kind of flushed out the town just a little bit to make it look like and feel more like, okay, this is an actual town and not just like a little set town that they built out the middle of nowhere. Probably what they did for the original movie. Yeah. But yeah, they show the bridge, they show the town. I like the model, and that's actually one of the things that I really do like about Tim Burton too, is that he has a very distinct style, and it is just oozing out of this movie, and the trailer just made it look like there was just going to be just Tim Burton to the max. So I was really excited to go in, but I was also like, this could be messed up very, very easily. So they've got, their work cut out for them.
And I think with this one, obviously there's a time jump. It's, now we have the 3 generations of the Dietz women. So we have Delia, Lydia, and Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, who ironically is kind of giving her own mom, not her stepmom, because, with Lydia, there was that disconnect because Delia is the stepmother.
Yeah.
But with Lydia and Astrid, they have a very strained relationship as well. And she gave her mom as much hell, I feel like, as Lydia did give to Delia. So it's kind of interesting to see Lydia do this, and she's kind of like, oh my God, this is what I was like. I'm so sorry, But also to see, Lydia kind of embracing, I guess would you call it, her ability?
Yeah, they really did kind of lean into the whole I see dead people kind of powers that Lydia had in the first one. But it kind of makes sense that, she would be very unique, because in the first one, she was the only one that could actually see
ghosts.
The ghosts.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would just continue that power and to kind of continue that storyline and have her daughter going, you're crazy, I don't believe you. Have her it's kind of funny that she's kind of now like the skeptic of the group.
Yeah, and with that said, the reason why the women came back to Winter River is because there was unfortunately a family tragedy. they didn't really reveal too much of exactly what it is that happens in the trailer, so we'll keep that like hush hush. But that is what brings the family back to, you know, their ghost house. But we have a whole slew of new characters that's joining the cast as well. We have Justin Theroux. I never know if I'm saying his name correctly, so I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. But he essentially plays Lydia's TV producer / romantic partner. And it's just like his character is just completely insufferable. Which I think it's meant that way.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you'll watch that story play out.
It kind of fits kind of like how Otho was in the original, how he was kind of like over the top and not like the same kind of character, but the
Otho
same
over him any day.
Yeah, I kind of like Otho a little bit more.
Yeah, and among the other characters, we also have Monica Bellucci, as many people have guessed it already from watching the trailer, but she plays someone who is romantically linked to Beetlejuice himself. And then we also have Willem Dafoe, who I actually really liked. Like, he really, in my opinion, serves as a comedic relief. But all of his scenes, he did it so well. You could tell he had fun with this one. I ate it up with a spoon. I thought it was hilarious anytime he was on screen.
Oh, really?
I loved it.
I actually found it a little, like, why are we having this right now? I felt like his scenes were kind of like, they didn't really go anywhere. Yeah, they were comedic and they were funny, and you can tell that he had a lot of fun with that kind of character. But I really didn't find his character necessary. And that is actually probably one of my biggest qualms about this movie, is the fact that it feels like they couldn't decide what to put into it, so they kind of put in everything. I feel like they should have picked a certain lane, limited some of the other outside characters, and they would have had a really good movie. But they kind of split their focus between Lydia and her love interest, Beetlejuice and his his past coming back to haunt him, so to speak. But they didn't really go anywhere with that. And also with Lydia's daughter, with Astrid, and her relationships that happen in the movie too. I felt like it was almost there. Like if they would have cut one or two of these and focused more on the other remaining relationships, you could have gotten a lot more out of this story.
I agree. I felt like they kind of spread themselves too thin story-wise, and then on top of trying to tell all these like various like story branches that they have developed, they also wanted to make sure like, oh, we still go back to the underworld and you get to see all the things that you love, like, you know, the main like lobby area where you take a number and you stay, and all these like characters and practical effects and the sandworms. Like, fans are going to want to see that, and those parts are good and they're great, and they don't pull too much focus. It's kind of like, oh, we're here, and it mimics like, you know, not mimics, but it like matches what we saw in the original, and that's all lovely and great. And the thing is that, and I think specifically with one of the new characters, is that their story, they build it up to be like, oh, this is gonna be real good when it comes to the third act, and then nothing happens, but they solved it because it felt like they were like, oh, we're running out of time, just gotta solve it this way. And I was like, no, we spent all this time like building this character up to be the big obstacle at the end, and then it wasn't. Disappointing.
I felt like, I mean, there was still a lot of fun parts. I love the way that it looked, and I thought it was really, there were some parts that made the movie fun. But I just felt there were so many times that I was like, nothing happened. There was no payoff. And the things that they were like, and that's how it's concluded, and you're like, but you didn't really earn that. You didn't really, here's the big reveal. And we're like, wait, what? I felt like it just didn't quite either just jump the gun on so many things, or just kind of dropped the ball on so many storylines. I feel like if they would have just whittled it down a little bit and focused on like what the main objective that they wanted to do, I think they could have gotten a little bit deeper into these characters, and I feel like they could have also gotten a little bit deeper into the lore of the underworld. I was hoping we would get just a little bit more of that.
They expanded a little bit.
They expanded it a little bit, but I wish they would have, you know, kind of explained the afterlife a little bit more.
Yeah, because it's really cool. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and give you our final rating for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. The movie couple rating is listed for you in the video description below. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I was looking forward to this. I grew up on Beetlejuice, so I love seeing him on screen again. I love seeing Michael Keaton up there. You could tell a lot of the actors had a lot of fun, and it was fun spending time with them again. I just feel like there was some things that came short, that they didn't quite evolve correctly, and just kind of just were like, wee, look at all these things that we have that are Beetlejuice. So I'm going to give this movie a stream it.
I think this is a really fun and really entertaining sequel to the original. However, it doesn't beat the original for me. What it is fun is that you get to see Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara back in their respective roles, and I think that is like the core of like what is holding this movie together. While I appreciate these storylines, I don't feel like those stuck the landing for me, and I hate it because like I was so excited for this one character, like, oh, what are they gonna do with this character? And then it was resolved in a second. I also want to note that I absolutely love the score. I love seeing the practical effects. I love that they didn't really have to rely on the CGI. The practical effects is what made the original really cool, and they kind of brought that, you know, into this one as well. And I was like, yes, this is how Beetlejuice should be done. And with that said, I think for like Beetlejuice fans, it should be a check it out. For me, I'm also going to say stream it. And there you have it. That is our thoughts on Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Watch the original if you haven't already. And we'll see you in the next video.